We are Steven and Jill. Together, we've been buying and reselling land since the 90s.
Our data-centric approach leaves our buyers asking, how can you sell it so cheap?
Here on the Land Academy Show,
We answer that and more. Steve and Jill here.
hello.
Welcome to the Land Academy Show, entertaining land investment talk. I'm Steven Jack Butala.
And I'm Jill DeWit, broadcasting from sunny Southern California.
Today, Jill and I talk about how to manage seller drama. And I heard that there's a story here.
Yeah, it just makes me giggle when we just sat down for a minute and I looked up which topic this was. I remember the other day when I was dealing with this, and it's just comical. It's so funny. These sellers, sometimes it's just drama around the situation, you know, and like trying to sell something out from under somebody, which is really funny. Like that's the last place you want to be involved. And then there's the other kind of seller drama where they just paint the story of you should love and appreciate this land the same way my grandfather did. And here's why. And I'm like, look, lady, I really don't care. It's so funny. Anyway, we'll talk about it more.
Before we get into it, let's take a topic, or a question posted by one of our members on the landinvestors.com online community. It's free.
Gary asks, I've never had this situation before or come up so far. One of the direct mail purchase offers was accepted, signed, and returned via mail. The seller apparently is very eager to sell. The seller began calling a couple times a day and wanted a status report of when the purchase of his land would take place. I decided I did not wish to purchase his parcel not because of the seller drama.
This is seller drama.
Kind of. Yeah. But because the area was not as desirable as some other parcels, and therefore the offer price was much more than I should have offered. His area was not nearly as valuable as the parcels I had based my price per acre on with my comps. I contacted the seller, made him aware that I had decided not to move forward with the purchase parcel. Now he says, if I do not purchase this parcel of land by the date written on my offer, it's so funny, he will hire an attorney and sue me. I use the same offer letter I've been using from offers to owners template. Any thoughts about the legal circumstances of me not moving forward with the purchase and the seller threatening legal action? I now feel I need to add another clause to the offers to owners template contract for a right to cancel within a period of due diligence. It's so darn funny. Do you want to go first?
Never in the history of ever. And all the times that Jill and I have been, let's just call it threatened or scolded. Scolded is more accurate. That's never come to anything. It's never actually even come to a discussion with the lawyer, because I'm sure whatever lawyer looks at that says, yeah, I mean, there's three ways. There's a clause in there that says, we're going to review the property, and if we don't want to buy it, we're not going to buy it.
Right.
For any reason. Right up to the day of closing, I think. Mm-hmm. So, and everybody in this string is really vocal about that.
Oh, yeah.
So
Stuff happens.
Don't worry about it at all.
And I've had it happen in the past the other way around. I've been in escrow and ready to close, and the guy changes his mind last minute. You know what? There's nothing you can do. Am I going to go after him?
No.
It's fine.
No.
It's just funny.
Today's topic, how to manage seller drama. This is the meat of the show. I'll tell you, we could have spent a lot of time on that question, but it's such a simple answer.
Right.
You know, a lot of times the answers aren't that simple.
Right.
Like it's, well, yeah, if you do this over here, and you got to make sure this is signed over here, and there's this like 6 moving parts. Nobody's suing anybody over this contract.
Exactly. It's just so funny. So I was just thinking too, could you imagine what circumstances, you know, what have you ever sold anything and you had a backstory to justify it, like a car or a piece of furniture?
No, it's all about the money.
Isn't it? I know. So my question is it us? So here, before we get into this topic and what to do with it, it's kind of funny. I'm just kind of thinking about the reasoning behind it. Is it because we're so straightforward people? Is it because we see land as a line item?
Yes.
Which is true. And a lot of people can't do that. You know, or you think it's...
Let's take it like a step further. Okay. What in your life, if you went to sell it, would you have second thoughts and get all emotional about it and, you know, really sit the buyer down and say, I want you to treat this with the respect it deserves. I mean, is it jewelry? Is it a classic car? You know, there's never really been a tear in my eye when things go out.
Funny, even cars. I would think for me it'd be like, there's some cars that I have loved and I sold, and there's cars that I like the little green car. I couldn't wait for it to go. I didn't even want to see it on its last day. Like, you want a picture? Nope. Nope. It's okay. Let it go. So, because it would just got to be a pain in the ass because so many things were going wrong with it.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think of anything. You know what it is for me? When I decide I'm going to sell something, I make a mental, I flip a switch in my head, like, it's not a home anymore, now it's a house, you know, kind of thing. But when you move in, it's a home.
Jill and I have in our little beach community, like this social group that we hang out with, and there's a couple of people who own restaurants in the social group. So once in a while, I go over there on the weekends and, you know, sip some wine and talk. And last weekend, she and I were sitting there, both of us looking at our phones, flipping through things, saying, because we're buying a bunch of trailer parks right now, mobile home parks.
Right.
And we're flipping through, look at some of the offers that are coming back, the stuff that's for sale, and so a half hour into it, we're just going back like we do.
You and me? Was it you and me?
Oh, on
okay,
a regular Tuesday.
Okay, got it.
And the people that we were with, we both looked up at the phone from our phones at the same time, and their jaws these are people in our socioeconomic group. They're not any strangers to buying stuff or just, they have their own businesses, most of them, and everything.
Right.
And they just could not believe, this taps into the topic.
Oh.
Couldn't believe how we were talking to each other, what we were talking about, you know, and how
casually.
just intense. It's not negative in any way, but it was just the intensity of which, like, we should really buy this mobile home park. It's got these RV spots. We can do this. We can do this. The price is pretty good. The capitalization rate. And they were like, what's wrong with you guys?
That's
like,
funny.
do you talk like this all the time to each other? There's something really wrong here. So I think that applies to this. Like, buying and selling 180 acres in Northern California and making a few $100,000 on it is like drinking a glass of water.
Right.
And so I don't think that that's the case for some people. I think it's like a decade event for them. Well,
you know, you have to realize that a lot of these offers, we're hitting people that have owned properties for a long time, and it's a life event. This is a normal transaction. They've owned for a long time. They've been paying taxes. They were lovingly going to retire there or do something special with it. And now a life event happened. Maybe COVID causes a job loss, or grandpa or dad or mom or husband, you know, somebody passed on, and now they have to sell, kind of thing. So that's usually how it goes. So maybe that's partially why there's a little bit of personal feelings baked into the property. So that's what happens. So what do you do? So this came to me the other day because I'll give you the example, and I'm going to tell you my 3 steps here. I had a woman that we're going back and forth with, and she's a real estate person. She is a commercial real estate broker. She got our letter. She called me hopping mad, of course. And then after she started talking to me, she liked me. She's like, you know what? We actually have been thinking about selling it. I like this. I like you. Let's talk. Well, this is in August, right? And now we're in almost October. This is September as we're recording it. So
October.
So, and it's in California. There's been fires and all kinds of things that have happened since we talked, right? So she finally got some stuff back to me. Here's what's so funny. My only question was access. She didn't fully realize who she's dealing with. She's sending me all kinds of pictures and maps and things that I already have. I'm like, I don't need any more Google shots. I got all that. It's so funny. So she writes me and finally sends me the letter confirming from the county the legal access. I'm like, this is what I needed. So then I wrote her back and I said, look, and this is funny because now I'm like, I don't really like the property anymore, and I certainly do not like it at the price I originally started out at, considering all that has gone on in that area. And I said, hey, you know, I know your time is valuable as well as mine, so let's just cut to the chase.
Excellent.
A lot has happened, and I'm now only buying property in that area with the right price, and it's kind of a now I have to buy it situation. So what's your bottom number? And that was it. So she wrote me back a book about her husband, Tom.
Oh,
He's
man.
73, and all of the stuff, the loving care and the cabin they had built. that had burned down. Thank goodness they had insurance on it. I picked up on the insurance. Yay, they got some money out of the property already, and all of this stuff. So I had to write back, and I had to say one more time, hey, you know what? All I want is your bottom number. And she said, let me talk to Tom. That was kind of it. But this whole thing was supposed to make me fall in love with the property too. She knows who I am, and she's in the business as well. So what do you do in these situations?
Well, hold on. What happened?
I'm still waiting for her to write back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm still waiting. As far as I'm concerned, I'm walking because I'm pretty sure she's not going to come back with a number that works for me. My thing is, you either want to sell or you don't. That's really kind of it.
My question is, when does that approach work?
Yeah, it works often. I've had several people. They said, "This is my bottom number." When you really,
I know your approach works. When does the pull on the heartstrings? When does somebody say as a buyer, "Oh my
never.
gosh,
Never.
You know what? I was really only willing to pay $100,000 for the property, but because of this circumstance that you and your husband are in, and this burned down,
right.
I feel bad for you. So I'm going to pay you $180,000 instead."
Isn't that funny?
Does anybody ever do that?
I did not
ever?
realize this fence was hand carved and built out of your garage. Like, could you imagine? It is absolutely worth 3 times as much. No, it's not. It's just a fence. Anyway, so my tips are here. Number 1, pick out the details. I will entertain it. If it's an email, I'll scan it. If it's on the phone, I'm giving it a few minutes. I'll tell you in a second here, because I'm picking out the details. Like this exact situation, I picked out. They already got some money out of this property. They're not hurting. And you know what? I happen to know too, because she told me the reason that she was so delayed in getting stuff back to me is because she's selling so much property. She's so flipping busy herself. I'm like, all right, not hurting for cash. They already got some money out of this property. I'm expecting something good, or I'm walking, because I know what's going to happen here.
You guys, did you come to a number?
That's why I said no. I'm waiting for it to come back.
So she's going to.
I am not going to throw out a number.
Okay.
That's the thing. That's not how we roll. I'm not going to hear her to negotiate. I'm not going to say, how about this much? And she'll say, how about that much?
Okay.
I want her bottom number. It's either going to work or not.
And then you're going to say yes or no.
Yeah.
And you've already written this off, I can tell.
Yes.
You're already like,
I totally written it off.
It's not on your acquisition
Oh yeah, no.
list at
Oh
all.
no, it's not.
You're
I'm
trying
like
to kill the deal.
entertaining. Exactly. It's kind of funny. I just like it's just throwing it out there. And if she comes up with something good, I'll entertain it. If not, I don't really care. I am not spending any more time on it after the show. This is more time than I care to spend on it. So thank you.
The story's more
it's
interesting.
making me irritated that you're asking me this many questions.
The story's more interesting than the actual deal.
Yeah. So it's just hilarious. So
I'll leave you alone.
My 3 things with seller drama is 1, pick out the details, like I told you how to do and what I picked up out here. Number 2, shut it down. Your time is valuable. If they have that much to say, it's taken from your time. It's probably not going to work out. Who cares? And number 3, which you kind of picked out from our banter here, is don't let any of this rule your decision. No matter how beautiful, what they tell you the view is, who got married there and how great it is and what's possible, or who wrote a book about the backwoods, that's the stream that neighbors your property.
Gosh.
I've had that too.
Jeez.
None of that should rule your decision. And that's my point.
I mean, the only thing that does is take up more time during your workday where you could be doing other deals.
That's a point.
It is so meaningless and ridiculous.
I'm not an author. If I were writing a National Geographic or some kind of a book, if I was writing a book about the history of the area, then I'm concerned. But I'm not. So, and it's important because this comes up often, and I know people get sucked in, and and your time is wasted, and it's valuable. You want to ask me more questions?
Yeah, I do. No, I don't want to ask you any more questions.
Not about the situation.
I'm afraid to ask you any more questions.
No, not about that thing, but you can ask me about the whole situation. Like,
did you ever watch or did you ever listen to a podcast or back in the day a talk show or on a radio show, and it's somebody is talking about some situation that's going on in a current event, and anytime, like 95% of the people that call in to talk about it want to tell you their personal story. So you could be talking about something that's going on in Washington or some bill that's going to get passed or some major event. Like it has a lot to do with humanity. And people call and say, my sister had cancer 3 years ago. And this, I don't care. Why do people bring, that's what this is. Why do people bring in their personal story somehow to digest some a current event?
Because it's life. That's how they think.
It's live?
Life.
Oh, life.
It's old. I mean, are we talking in a social situation? Then that's normal.
Well, I just think that, I want to buy your land, and it's worth $80,000. I don't care about anything else.
Right.
I don't care about any personal anything.
Oh. No, that's...
Except for something like, hey, if there was a cabin on it, then they dealt with the sanitation and the water and the utilities somehow. Yeah. Okay, good. I get that. Let's just keep it right there.
That's what we're doing. But I understand what you're saying. You're talking about a seller talking about a life story. That's just
personal. Anything personal.
Yeah, that's a person that doesn't have anybody to talk to. There's plenty of those, and that's just your mailer hit somebody and they called you, and now they're just happy to have someone on the other end of the phone. Don't go down that rabbit hole too, because that happens. Like Gary, or I think it was Gary who wrote the question. The guy calling how many times a day, to bug him. That's a lonely person. You know what? That's it. That guy's just lonely. He's not going to sue anybody.
No,
he just wants you to talk to. There's a lot of that.
Or he needs some money. I get it.
Or that. I understand. So, and then Gary did the right thing. It's like, sorry, and shut it down.
I bought a primary residence from, this is a lot of years ago, long before I ever met you, and from a guy that, it was in Arizona, and he retired, and he was there, and the manufacturing facility that he sold, and the money that he was receiving on that sale, it didn't work. The person who bought it failed at it, so he had to sell the house, go back to Chicago, and unretire himself, and boy, did I hear about it. And I wouldn't have bought the house. I was very young at the time. I would not have bought the house if it wasn't a great deal, obviously. Right. But so he had to justify it, and he had to just stick it to me. He had to stick it, make sure that I understood how this is just disrupting his life and how lucky I am. And so if that would happen today...
Did you make him feel good? Did you tell him all? Oh, yeah. I understand.
I walk around making people feel good. No, I didn't make him feel good.
What did you do? Just stand there and walk away?
I said that's, no, I didn't walk away because it was a great deal. Oh. But I said, I'm sorry you have to go through this, but you really got to get out of my house. Can you sign
the papers?
Get out of my house now.
Can you just sign this?
If that would happen today, I wouldn't put up with it for not even half of a minute. I would say, I'll meet you at the title company. Yeah. I'm not going to listen to this, not even for 1 minute. So funny. So that's the difference between you and me.
Right.
Because you will turn that into a situation where now you got all the furniture for free or something, and I'm just not going to. And neither way is wrong. There's a story. You should probably listen to people's story when it's important.
Happy you could join us today. 5 days a week, you can find us right here on the Land Academy Show.
Tomorrow, the episode on the Land Academy Show is called, What Would You Do with Limitless Capital? You are not alone in your real estate ambition. Tomorrow is fun stuff to talk about.
Really?
Limitless capital?
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't...
What's more fun to talk about than that?
I guess. Well, there's lots of things. But yeah, you're right. I know you're right. We just, that's just not my first thing that comes to mind because I guess I take it for granted. Yeah. Maybe that's why.
Yeah, because we have limitless capital.
I know. I haven't thought about it for a while. You're correct. I take it for granted. For a lot of people, this is a very big deal.
Most people, most people who own companies and businesses, not just regular people, but are scrambling around constantly looking for cash because they're underwater with cash, but their asset value is okay. It's justifying it. Seriously.
Yeah.
We never scramble around. When's the last time you scrambled around for acquisition money?
It's been a long time.
It's been years.
It has been years. I can't remember.
Maybe we don't spend enough. I don't know. We'll talk about it tomorrow.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for tuning in. We hope you find our content valuable, and we appreciate your support. If you haven't already, please get on over to YouTube and hit the subscribe button on our channel.
And your comments and suggestions help us to create the type of content you're here for. Hitting the like button helps to support our channel's algorithm and gauge your interest for future shows.
We're Steven Jill.
Information
and inspiration
to buy undervalued property.